just makes me want to cry. It's horrible.
Berks County District Attorney John Adams holding back tears this afternoon after revealing the disturbing details of the murders of 3 members of the same family.
We spent 9 days literally doing every type of research. We thought they were missing, like my cousin might be scared.
The same
we have
family.
some hope.
I don't think that any of us could imagine the tragedy that took place here and how horrific this crime was.
The bodies of a mother and her young son were found in Berks County, prompting a homicide investigation.
September 2025, Reading, Pennsylvania. A 1-year-old boy is pulled from a muddy pond, drowned. But this wasn't an accident. This wasn't a tragedy of neglect. This was murder. Deliberate, cruel, and it all started because a woman dared to say no. Geraldina Peguero-Mancebo had a husband. She had a baby boy. She had a life. But she also had Jose Luis Rodriguez, a man who gave her money, demanded her time, and when she tried to walk away, he took everything from her life, her husband's life, and worst of all, he threw her 1-year-old son into that pond while the baby was still breathing. 3 people dead, 1 family wiped out, all because one man couldn't handle rejection.
The woman's body was found in a grassy field Friday night near East Holler Lane in Ontalani Township. Her 1-year-old son's body was found in a marshy area nearby on Saturday. They've been identified as 30-year-old Geraldina Peguero-Mancebo and 1-year-old Jeyden Junior Peguero.
Stay tuned as we reveal everything about this case. Drop a comment and let me know what you think about this story. Welcome to our channel. Make sure to hit the subscribe button. Like and share this video to help raise awareness and spread caution. Let's begin.
She didn't mess with nobody. She didn't know how to fight. She was like the person that, so like the biggest heart. You need something that she was gonna be there for you. I want to give this type of calling. Gotta be careful with the people you let in your house.
Geraldina was living a complicated life. On one side, she had her husband, Junior Cabrera-Colon. Together, they were raising their son, Jeyden Junior, just 1 year old. A family trying to make it work. But on the other side was Jose Luis Rodriguez. Rodriguez wasn't just some guy she knew casually. He was financially involved in her life. Money changed hands. Expectations grew. And with those expectations came possession. Jealousy. Control. Rodriguez wanted Geraldina to leave her husband. He wanted her completely. But she refused. And that refusal? It didn't sit well with him. Not at all. The more she pulled away, the tighter he tried to hold on. He couldn't accept that she chose her family over him. He couldn't accept that his money, his attention, his obsession, none of it was enough to make her stay. So he decided if he couldn't have her, no one would. September 12th, 2025. That's the day Jose Luis Rodriguez made his final move. He confronted Geraldina. One last time, he demanded she leave her husband. One last time, she said no. And that's when he shot her in the back of the head. Execution style. No warning. No chance to run. Just gone. But he wasn't done. Geraldina's 1-year-old son, Jeyden, was there. A baby. Innocent. Unaware of the horror happening around him. Rodriguez picked up that child, walked to a nearby pond, and threw him in. Alive. The baby drowned in muddy water, while his mother's body lay lifeless nearby. Then there was Junior, Geraldina's husband. He was found in a different location. Also shot in the back of the head. Also executed. Rodriguez made sure there were no survivors. No witnesses. No family left to mourn together. 3 murders. 1 man. And according to investigators, he acted completely alone. When authorities began investigating, the evidence pointed directly at Jose Luis Rodriguez. Video footage placed him at the locations. Phone records tracked his movements. The timeline lined up perfectly. And when they brought him in, he confessed. All 3 murders. He admitted to shooting Geraldina. He admitted to throwing baby Jeyden into the pond. He admitted to killing Junior. No excuses. No claims of self-defense. Just cold, hard facts. He did it. He planned it. He carried it out. The brutality of these crimes is staggering. Shooting two adults is horrifying enough, but taking a 1-year-old baby and leaving him to drown alone in muddy water? That's a level of cruelty that's almost incomprehensible because of the extreme nature of these murders, especially the death of baby Jeyden. Authorities are now considering the death penalty. This isn't just about punishment. It's about justice for a family that was completely destroyed by one man's inability to let go.
We're here today to announce additional murder charges which were filed this morning against Jose Luis Rodriguez. I think that we will need to address the fact that he was originally charged with murder on September 19th, as I recall, and was in jail. And we filed the additional murder charges this morning against Mr. Rodriguez. His last known address was 1516 Center Avenue. He is 61 years of age. He had previously been charged on September 19th with the murder of Junior Cabrera-Colon, and that seemed to be the start of the story, when in fact that murder actually took place after the murders which were charged this morning took place. So he has been incarcerated at Berks County Jail since September 19th, 2025. During the investigation of the murder, it was determined that a female by the name of Geraldina Peguero-Mancebo and her 1-year-old son, Jeyden Junior Peguero, had been missing. So while the Reading Police Department initially was involved in the investigation of the murder of Junior Cabrera-Colon, simultaneously, they were also involved in investigating as a result of a tip that they received for a welfare check that Geraldina Peguero-Mancebo and Jeyden had not been seen and were missing. So all of these investigations were, in many respects, taking place at the same time. It was determined early on by the Reading police detectives and phone records that they were able to gather that her phone had been stationary in the area of East Huller Lane in Onalani Township. Now that is an area that we will describe in some respects as near the Walmart in Muhlenberg Township. As a result of the fact that she had not been found, the cell phone records kind of indicated that things stopped in that area. As a result, the Reading Police Department then went to that area and discovered Geraldina's body on an access road off of East Huller Lane. However, at that time, her 1-year-old son was not found. Additional investigation indicated that Geraldina and Jeyden had entered a car, which was later determined to be the car of the defendant, Jose Luis Rodriguez. During an interview with the defendant admitted to having some sort of relationship with Geraldina. The defendant admitted that on Friday, September 12th, 2025, that he had picked up Geraldina and Jeyden, and that it was his intention to drive to the area of East Huller Lane to kill Geraldina because she did not want to leave her husband, Junior Cabrera-Colon, that was the body that was found in Bear Park in the city of Reading. The defendant indicated to detectives that he was infuriated because he said that Geraldina was taking his money, and he admitted that he shot Geraldina in the back of the head in the area of Huller Lane in Onalani Township. The defendant then took Jeyden down the street and threw him in a lake close to where Geraldina had been killed. The defendant confirmed that Jeyden was alive when he threw him face down in the muddy water. Now, I've referred to that as a lake. I think it's better referred to as a pond, an area of some water. It's nothing deep or anything like that. The defendant admitted that he did everything by himself and then no one else took part in it. On Saturday, September 20th, 2025, Jeyden's body was found approximately 150 yards west of where Geraldina had been found the day before. He was partially submerged in thick mud and water in an algae-covered stagnant body of water. It's approximately 10 to 15 feet from the shoreline. On Monday, the following Monday, or that Monday, Berks County detectives met with the defendant again, and he agreed, and he showed the detectives where he put Geraldina's purse and cell phone, as well as the gun he had used to shoot her. That purse and cell phone were recovered in the 1500 block of North 5th Street. The gun that was used to shoot Geraldina was found underneath the rear porch steps of a home in the 1500 block of Center Avenue. Detectives have located that black 9mm semi-automatic handgun. That handgun was stolen most likely in June of this year. An autopsy indicated that Geraldina was shot in the skull, in the back of her skull. Her cause of death was a single gunshot wound. The autopsy for Jeyden, the 1-year-old child, indicated there was no sign of external trauma. Jeyden was alive at the time he was submerged into the water, and the autopsy revealed that there was mud in his lungs. The cause of death was determined to be freshwater drowning. After Geraldina and Jeyden were murdered, the defendant murdered Junior Cabrera-Colon. Now, his body was found by patrol officers for the city of Reading in the vicinity of Bear Park near the basketball courts. It was determined that Cabrera suffered, again, a gunshot to the back of his head. That is the investigation that started all of this, the finding of the body in Bear Park. But it was actually the last murder that he committed. The investigation by detectives with the Reading Police Department determined that Cabrera's body was dumped in Bear Park, and as a result of video, a car that was matching the description was then later found in the area of 1500 block of Pear Street. That vehicle was initially towed as a result of a parking violation. Investigators followed up when looking at the vehicle. When they saw blood inside, they saw blood in the front driver, front passenger, and rear driver's seat, and a spent shell casing could also be seen in the middle console. As a result, the Reading Police Department obtained a search warrant for that vehicle during this investigation. There were numerous interviews with the defendant and others. Those interviews, in those interviews, the defendant, Rodriguez, claimed that Cabrera argued with him about his involvement with Peguero-Mancebo Geraldina Peguero-Mancebo, and a physical altercation took place in the 1500 block of Pear Street. Rodriguez told the police that during this altercation, a gun was knocked out of Cabrera's hand, and that Rodriguez picked up the gun and fired one shot at Cabrera, hitting him in the back of the head. Rodriguez admitted he put Cabrera's body into Cabrera's car and drove him to the park where he left his body. Now, we're still in the initial parts of the investigation. I would suggest most likely that his version is only partially accurate. This individual has now been charged with 3 counts of first-degree murder and abuse of corpse and associated charges. I don't think that any of us can imagine the tragedy that took place here and how horrific this crime was. The loss of life of these adults that were killed was unnecessary. The loss of life of that 1-year-old was cruel. It was horrible. This was a extremely difficult case. I just want to thank the Reading Police Department, the Berks County Detectives, the Northern Berks Regional Police Department for their thorough investigation. This horrific crime was solved as a result of just dedicated work of the detectives involved in this case as they pieced this together, and they worked as a team, and they should all receive a lot of credit for that. As a result, we promptly took this murderer off our streets, and we have an individual here who committed some atrocious acts that just are unimaginable. We will avail ourselves, or will allow you to obtain copies of the affidavits of probable cause and criminal complaints, so you can review them. But I will tell you that we look forward to the prosecution of this defendant. We will be considering filing a notice to seek the death penalty. We have not made any final decision as we speak, but I can't imagine anything more horrifying than throwing that 1-year-old child into that pond of water, and that child is left there to die. Thank you. Any questions?
I can see this is affecting you personally. I mean, how do you process this kind of lack of humanity in a case like this?
I don't think you can. You can't. I just was shocked. And, you know, unfortunately, in our jobs, we deal with bad things all the time. This is a different level. It's a different level. And in reflection, just makes me want to cry. It's horrible. Defenseless 1-year-old.
Did he say how long he had been planning the murders?
I don't know that. We don't know that. We don't know that. But we do know that through the entangled relationship that there was, that something must have caused this behavior, because Mr. Rodriguez had no prior criminal history. So something happened. We don't know when or why he intentionally killed these 3 people.
Is it fair to describe the relationship as a romantic relationship?
That is still part of our investigation.
You're not sure yet.
We are not sure. We know there was some sort of relationship, including the fact that Mr. Rodriguez had rented an apartment at the Lincoln Tower Apartments off of 5th Street for Peguero-Mancebo. But we don't know in depth the actual extent of this relationship. So I would hate to make a misstatement about that, but that will be part of our ongoing investigation to try to determine the relationship and what was involved. But no matter what, no one deserved to die.
Do you know how long they knew each other for? Approximately.
No, I don't, off the top of my eye. You mean Peguero-Mancebo, Geraldine, and the defendant?
The defendant, yeah.
I do not know
Years.
how long that they knew each other. I can tell you over a year. That is certain, over a year, but I don't know exactly how long they knew each other.
Did they work together at Amazon?
We do believe that they met working at warehouses off of 61, and I think it was called Reveal. And but I know that the defendant, Jose Rodriguez, was no longer working there. But that is one. We do know that they worked in the same warehouse in off of Route 61 as you go north outside of the city, and most likely on Alani Township area also, or I'm not exactly sure which township, but north on 61 there's a number of warehouses, and they work together up there. However, Jose Rodriguez at the time of this homicide, we believe, was working at Bell and Evans, a chicken processing in the upper parts of Berks County.
In some of the paperwork, he described someone named Alex who used to work at that warehouse. Is that him? Was he talking about himself?
I think that was Alex was. I don't know that we know exactly who Alex is. Alex was. I think the defendant was trying to blame it on Alex. That's what Alex was. And Alex, I'm sure if Alex does exist, we'll determine who he was during our ongoing investigation. But, the defendant has made admissions to all 3 homicides. He has admitted what he did.
You could say he confessed to all 3?
Yes. He admitted that he threw that baby in the pond.
Did he have any assistance, though? I mean,
We at this point do not believe that anyone else may have been involved, but that's under investigation also. Was there a second person involved with the one of the homicides? We'll be looking into that. Excuse me, but at this point, Jose Rodriguez has been charged with all 3 murders. Yes, it's an ongoing investigation, and if we determine that someone else had some part of the murder, and I think if anyone had any part in any of the homicides, the only homicide would have been of Mr. Cabrera. But at this point, we have no additional information, but again, we'll be looking for. If there's any additional information that is provided to police, we will thoroughly investigate that and make a determination if anyone else was involved.
During the search of his property, did you find anything else that would have led you to believing that he did this alone, or he did it at all early on?
Search of what property?
His property? His home or anything?
Oh, the defendant's property?
Yes, yes.
No. A lot of the evidence that we were able to uncover as a result of a search warrant was uncovered from that vehicle. And I do not believe that we executed a search warrant at his home. That I may be mistaken, but nothing was found. Yeah, it was just the vehicle was our main focus.
Just to clarify, is that a photograph of the 3 victims?
Yes, that is the victim, Geraldine Peguero.
Can you cycle through those?
And yes, that is.
I could send you that.
Yeah, we will send you that. But
Okay.
that is the victim, Geraldine Peguero-Mancebo, 31 years of age.
Yes.
The baby, Jeyden Peguero, 1 year of age. And the other person depicted on that other photograph was the husband, Junior Cabrera-Colon, or the father of the victim.
And it was during questioning about the vehicle, when he was shown the picture of the vehicle, and he did not, claimed he couldn't see the vehicle, and didn't know if it was his or not. And is that how he was taken into custody?
Well, I mean, he gave statements that were inconsistent, and the police followed up those statements and provided and presented video evidence to him, which really led to the police being able to obtain the truth. Because he initially, as many times, defendants don't come into the police station and lay it all out. That rarely happens. But the police did a thorough job in obtaining video evidence throughout the city of Reading and also from some other locations. And that video evidence is going to be a large part of putting this case together. And I have to commend the Reading Police again. There are a lot of hands on deck here. They collected video evidence from various locations, which were able to lead them to be able to question the defendant. And when the defendant lied, they were able to show him, no, this is your car. And I think it led the defendant to admitting to his actions. Of course, partial truth and partial false statements too, involved in what he was telling the police.
Which is his actual immigration status, Rodriguez status.
Immigration?
Yeah.
The defendant.
I knew, okay, the defendant is here legally, a green card. He is from the Dominican Republic. Correct? Yeah, Dominican Republic. He is here legally. So we do know that. But he is not, we do not believe he is a citizen, but he was here legally. And as I stated, no prior criminal history.
How many charges is facing Mr. Rodriguez right now?
How many charges?
How many charges?
Well, he's facing numerous charges. Most importantly, 3 counts of first-degree murder, 3 counts of third-degree murder, aggravated assault, abuse of corpse, and some related charges, including firearms not to be carried without a license. So he is facing many multiple felony charges.
Mr. Dina, you mentioned the gun was stolen. Did he steal that gun, or how?
We have no evidence that he stole that gun. We know that the gun was stolen because the gun was probably stolen while being transported through UPS. It was stolen. We don't know where. We know it was in June of 2025. We have no idea. We don't have any evidence as to who stole the gun. Somehow he obtained that firearm. We don't know how he obtained that firearm. But again, we will continue to look into that. But the firearm was stolen. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for coming. This was I know that there were a lot of questions as to, we didn't rush. Once we had this individual in custody, we needed to take our time to develop our case, to develop our investigation into Geraldine and the babies, how they were murdered. So this is very, very tragic case, very tragic. Thank you for coming here today.
This case is about more than just a crime. It's a reminder of how dangerous obsession can be, how deadly control can become. Geraldina said no. She set a boundary. She chose her family. And she paid for that choice with her life. Her husband paid. Her baby paid. When someone refuses to accept rejection, when they tie you to them financially, emotionally, or otherwise, that's not love. That's control. And control, when pushed to its limit, becomes violence. There are red flags we all need to watch for. Excessive jealousy, financial manipulation, someone who can't handle the word no, someone who makes you feel trapped, like leaving isn't an option. If you're in a situation where someone's behavior feels threatening, trust that instinct. Reach out, tell someone, get help, because the cost of waiting, the cost of hoping things will get better on their own, it can be everything. Geraldina's story shows us that walking away isn't always safe, but staying can be even more dangerous. 3 lives, a mother, a father, and their baby boy, all gone because one man couldn't accept that he wasn't enough. How do you think cases like this should be handled by the justice system? Let us know in the comments. And if you want more deep dives into cases that shake us to our core, subscribe to True Crime Station. We'll see you in the next one. Rest in peace, Geraldina Junior and baby Jeyden.